First at 4, it's a battle that affects thousands of high school athletes, their families, and their entire communities. The public debate that's part of a larger power struggle right now in Lansing. With a stroke of a pen, President Biden wipes away more Donald Trump policy changes. We'll show you what he did today. Paula.
This local nurse is going to the big game.
It's like unbelievable when I still think I'm going to be sitting in the Super Bowl. I can't believe it.
Her husband doesn't even have a ticket, and she's like, bye. Just wait until you hear how she scored the big ticket.
And clouds bought us a couple degrees this morning. However, we won't be so lucky tonight. We'll look at that and also the weekend snow, which looks a lot more likely. It's all right now, first at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, despite calls for unity and cooperation, Governor Gretchen Whitmer seems locked in a brutal power struggle with Republican lawmakers. It's all playing out in the debate over how to best handle the ongoing COVID pandemic. Today, the battle over high school sports is playing out in front of the state legislature. Let's bring in Devin Skillion. Devin, many parents say let them play.
You and I are both getting a lot of emails and social media comments in that vein, Karen. Ton of that coming in about high school sports. It's an issue that hits home for so many families. Today, lawmakers in both houses took up this ongoing suspension of winter sports. This morning, the Senate passed a resolution asking the governor to lift the restrictions that have winter sports on hold right now until February 21st. Shortly after that, the House Oversight Committee heard from parents and athletes who said students have proven they can play safely. Also in attendance today was the woman in charge of Let Them Play, the group threatening to sue if restrictions aren't eased. One student athlete told lawmakers he understands the risks because his mother battled the virus for more than a month and had to be hospitalized.
I can't get back my district basketball championship game from last season. I can't get back the camps and combines that have been canceled. I can't get back the conversations I could have had with college recruits who have the potential to change my life forever. I would like for you to accept a promise of accountability, the accountability of myself and my teammates to continue to follow the science and safety your administration has put forth and to allow us the chance to prove to you that we can compete safely.
Now, the governor says she understands that people are frustrated with the winter sports restrictions, but said her administration continues to monitor the spread of the virus. She says they're especially concerned about this new variant that we've seen, especially in Washtenaw County. So, Karen, much more on the testimony coming up at 5, including one moment that brought a superintendent to tears. A pretty emotional issue for a lot of people. We'll have that coming up later this afternoon. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Devin. Well, the day after Governor Whitmer's State of the State address calling for unity, state Republicans are saying they haven't really been invited to the table. The power struggle in Lansing has become a bitter game of back and forth. During last night's address, the governor called for bipartisan cooperation to fight the pandemic and its economic impact. But hours before, the Republican-controlled Senate blocked 13 of her state appointees, and House Republicans proposed holding up education funding if Whitmer doesn't relinquish her power to close schools and suspend sports. Whitmer says the buck stops with her. Republicans claim she's not really open to cooperation.
Since March 13th of last year, I've been invited to one conversation with the governor, but invited to many presentations. The point being this: you can't govern, you can't acknowledge input from others by doing one-way, one-sided presentations. It requires a conversation.
I cannot cede the responsibility of making these tough decisions to anyone else. The buck stops with me, and I'll be judged for it in an election in the future.
Now, in response to Shirky's claim, the governor's office says the legislative leadership is invited to updates on the data every week, but their attendance is hit or miss. Also, they will continue to be invited to those calls and other so-called quadrant meetings in order to combat COVID-19. While Michigan is trending in the right direction on COVID-19 cases, concerns about new variants of the virus are growing today. The mutated version of COVID-19 from South Africa has now been confirmed in South Carolina. The first 2 cases in the U.S. were discovered in different regions of South Carolina, and neither of the people had recently traveled. Today, Michigan is reporting more than 1,800 new cases of the virus in the past day. along with 80 additional deaths, including 67 from a vital records review. One of the defendants in the sweeping Flint water criminal case is trying to have the judge in his case replaced. Howard Croft is the former director of the Flint Department of Public Works. He's asking for Genesee County Judge William Crawford II to be removed. Croft's attorney argues the judge should be disqualified because he is also a potential claimant against Croft in any civil action. Croft faces 2 counts of willful neglect of duty. We'll keep you posted on that motion. General Motors is mapping out an aggressive plan to become a carbon neutral by 2040 and will focus on offering a fleet of zero-emission vehicles by 2035.
The next 5 years, we're spending $27 billion, and we've announced over the last few months several investments in plants and in products specifically to take action to move in that direction, because that's what we can do right now.
GM says it will offer 30 electric vehicles. Also, it aims to have 40% of all U.S. models run on battery by the end of 2025. As for its manufacturing plants, those will be powered by 100% renewable energy by 2030 in the U.S. and by 2035 abroad. This all comes a day after President Biden signed executive orders to curb climate change. On Local 4 News at 6, business editor Rod Maloney will take a closer look at GM's path to achieving their goal. All right, in the first forecast, some of you might be seeing a few flurries, and it is so cold out there. Let's get over to Ben Bailey. I was walking my pup today. I had to make sure his coat was on. It was cold out there.
Yeah, this is some of the coldest air that we've had to deal with all season, Karen. And even though we saved a couple degrees this morning with those clouds, it is not doing us any favors this afternoon. And it's producing these flurries, which is more just a nuisance than anything else. We're not expecting any accumulation, but you can see a couple of those dotting the landscape there, especially in the north zone and on the east side around 94. So just keep that in mind for the drive home tonight. Otherwise, current temperatures are in the low 20s, even 19 in Pontiac. So can't even get to 25 today. And that wind, when you tack that on top of it, it feels like it's in single digits in spots and just barely above 10 in the rest of the area. So it definitely has a winter chill to it. We're going to see our temperatures slide back to 18 by midnight tonight. We've got 2 more cold mornings to go, Karen, and then we start talking weekend snow. We'll run it down for you in a few minutes.
All right. Always fun to talk about the weekend. All right, President Joe Biden is reversing Trump-era changes to the Affordable Care Act and on abortion. The president just signed executive orders to reopen the insurance markets at healthcare.gov, and he directed his administration to consider reversing limits on abortion counseling and work requirements for low-income people getting Medicaid. The president also reversed a federal policy that bars taxpayer funding for international nonprofits that promote or provide abortions. The so-called Mexico City policy changes back and forth depending on which party occupies the White House. Biden admits he's not breaking new ground.
Basically, the best way to describe them, to undo the damage Trump has done. There's nothing new that we're doing here other than restoring the Affordable Care Act and restoring the Medicaid to the way it was before Trump became president.
So new at 5, Help Me Hank is going to take a closer look at when the insurance market reopens and what that means for you. No doubt about it, this time of year, the hottest ticket around is a ticket to the Super Bowl. And thanks to COVID, the NFL will only allow about 14,500 fans to watch the game in person. More than half of those tickets will be gifts to healthcare heroes. So how does someone get one of those coveted seats? Paula Tutman talks to a local nurse who has scored big.
So, of course, getting Super Bowl tickets is pretty cool, but the way Nurse Carol got them is also part of the cool story. Carol St. Henry is the ultimate team player. Yes, she loves the Lions hard.
We'll be there. We'll be there someday.
She's a wife and a mother, but these days her most important team uniform is this. Every day as a critical care nurse in the ICU of St. Joseph Mercy Oakland in Pontiac, her will and training is tested. As a certified registered nurse anesthetist, often her face is the last face a patient sees before being intubated. And if the patient can see anything at all, it's through this.
I've never seen one in my life, and now I own one. It's mentally exhausting, especially when you hear the code and all of a sudden you get back and you're charting and you hear it again, anesthesia stat, code blue. you're just sitting down to chart and all of a sudden it's going again.
And so when she heard the NFL was going to choose 7,500 vaccinated first responders and medical personnel to see the Super Bowl in person, she did what every reasonable fan would do. She wrote a letter to the commissioner.
How did you even know who to write to and where to send it?
Well, I just sent it to Mr. Goodell. Isn't that what everyone does? I've been a nurse for 31 years. This is the scariest thing I've been through. I just said, please consider me.
And to her shock and amazement, Roger Goodell wrote back.
The NFL has been amazing. From the first email back, they were telling me that, they appreciate the work that the healthcare workers have done.
It is a little slice of heaven after 11 months of sheer hell.
Coming home every day, changing in the garage, taking your clothes off in the garage, not sure if you've got contamination on the clothes you wore to the hospital.
And so she is Tampa bound to root for the most important team in the nation, bar none.
And it's not just CRNAs, it's not just doctors, it's not just nurses, it's everyone at the hospital. It's the transporters, scrub techs, secretaries. People forget about those people. It's doctors, nurses when you think medical, but it's a team that does this. And I'm just so fortunate to represent them.
And while she is happy to be fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus, this was the shot in the arm she also really needed. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
She is so appreciated. Nurse Carol is still waiting to find out if her husband will also get a ticket, but she says if he doesn't, she's okay with it. She's going to go to the game to represent her own hometown health heroes. A big thank you to Carol and all of those first responders. Well, thousands of SUV owners are facing a second recall for the same problem with their brake lights. So we are going to show you who is affected coming up next in a Help Me Hank Consumer Alert. Also, what a mess. We'll explain how one natural disaster leads to another for this very unlucky community. And later, would you like to see less politics on your Facebook feed? That site is making a temporary change permanent. Stick around for trending stories.